has your information for forever as well. But I don't know about the other ones. Any other questions? Cool. How many of you know what the third-party doctrine is? Nobody. Sweet. I get to blow some minds. Basically, third-party doctrine is this doctrine that exploits a loophole in the Fourth Amendment. And what it does is it allows the government to bypass the Fourth Amendment when we're talking about companies. So who can give me an explanation of the Fourth Amendment? Yes?
The government cannot come and search through your private possessions or information without due process of laws, basically you have to get a warrant.
Sure. Yeah, most people would argue that the Fourth Amendment is where our rights to privacy come from. Claire, you're super constitutional. Do you have any other insight on the Fourth Amendment? Like any other differences, any specifications?
It protects people, generally, not places. Is a big one. So like it's misinterpreted a lot, but that's basically it. It's pretty simple. It's just that the government can't invade your privacy.
Right. I'm not super read up on the law or constitution.
Yeah, I mean, they can do what they want as long as they have a warrant. It's basically what's stipulated.
Right. And so the third-party doctrine, basically, I'm not sure what the loophole exactly is, like what the text of it is that provides a loophole. Do you know what the loophole is for the third-party doctrine?
Third-party doctrine. I can look it up. Right?
I mean, like I know how it operates. So basically, what it does is there's certain language in the Fourth Amendment that allows the government to access private information when it's through companies. So basically, you have, I had a great little diagram to fill this out, so I'm just going to do it with my hands, because that makes a little more sense. You have your information, and you have the government. And the government wants to get to your information. But there's a wall there, right? There's the Fourth Amendment, because they can't just come in and grab it for the taking. Well, what happens is whenever you put your information to a company, that company comes in and steps right in the middle of you and the government and completely obliterates that Fourth Amendment wall. So that's kind of a visual like how it works, because then the government can reach into the companies. Yeah.
It's the reasonable expectation of privacy
Great.
phrase.
Great.
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
If you give out your information to a company, you no longer have a reasonable expectation of privacy for that information.
That's so exciting.
Because it says against unreasonable searches and seizures.
And honestly, in this day and age, it doesn't take much to justify getting, a reason to search. Thanks, Alberta. Okay, 2 seconds.
So not to feel like a liberal wacko, but there is kind of like some balance to be had here.
Of course.
I mean, the government is collecting so much information. I actually read some stuff that says that it's actually like hampering the NSA's effectiveness. They have just so much data. A, if you have nothing to hide, you have nothing to worry about. And B, there's just so much data out that the government is collecting. The likelihood that you specifically will be targeted, I would say, is relatively small.
Yeah, and honestly, I'm not even sure where I fall on the whole debate, and I have no idea. I still use. Can we put the lights up here? I use all the social services. I use all the social utilities. I'm not going to be a hypocrite and say, stop using Facebook, stop using the internet. More or less, I'm not really pushing an agenda, and I'm honestly not sure where I fall on the whole debate. This is more or less just to give you an idea of where exactly your information goes and what that information is. So the third-party doctrine, again, loophole in the Fourth Amendment. It eliminates the Fourth Amendment through companies, using that phrasing that Claire talked about. Basically, when you click I accept, you're giving up your Fourth Amendment rights. Again, I'm using a lot of dramatic phrasing here, but it's true. That's exactly what happens. Oh, here's my great diagram. See, the government's trying to get private information, Fourth Amendment wall, and then Google comes in, and then private info goes to Google gives it to the government. Sweet. Okay, how many of you know what this is? What is it?
Are these all the different advertising companies that ads go through?
Sort of. I mean, that's literally what it is, yes. Anybody else? Okay, this is a flow chart called the Display Advertising Technology Landscape. I gotta go into presenter mode real quick. Claire, do you know how to go into presenter mode on this?
Play?
No.
Oh, you're not trying to play the slideshow. What are you trying to do then?
I'm trying to go into presenter mode so I can see my notes.
I'm surprised it's not doing that now. I have no idea. It's always done automatically.
Hold on. I never use presenter mode, ever.
Your computer may not do it.
Okay, hold on.
If you want, you can email the slideshow to me and use my computer.
That's all good. Okay, great. So I'm just going to explain it from this standpoint. So right here, what you have is you have ad agencies. Who knows what ad agencies are? How many of you watch Mad Men? No? Okay, ad agencies are basically what the show Mad Men is about. They're big companies that deal with strategizing with companies on how to advertise their product. And so when you think of advertising or when you think of going into the advertising industry, you're typically thinking about going into an ad agency and dealing with ad strategy, marketing strategy, things like that. So this is a flow chart, so I'm going to do my best to explain it in the order that it goes, but forgive me if I don't. And then all the little things in the boxes are just companies that are part of that branch of advertising. But basically, when you see an advertisement on Facebook or anywhere, it went through all of these channels to get there. Okay, then you have the media buying platforms. And what they do is they decide what ads the viewer should see next, how much a brand should spend. They buy media on behalf of the ad agencies. So the ad agency conceptualizes it. Then the media buying platform, what they do is they're like, okay, now we're going to help you with the next level of strategy, i.e. your key demographic, figuring out what production company we should get to make your advertisements, things like that. That's like where the advertisements are kind of made. Next is the DPS. That's right here. They're called demand-side platforms, and it's an interface that media buying platforms use to organize multiple data and ad exchanges with one account. So say I'm an ad agency, and I am WPP, and I buy my ad content from MIG, Vivaki, and Cadreon. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to then get a demand-side platform to manage all of that, manage those 3 ad content companies that I'm buying. And it's going to allow me to deal with all that information and all of that content. Then what you have is you have the, we're going to go down to data optimization. And this is what the word optimization means when you're optimizing something. Yeah. Yeah, you're making it, a lot of times we have optimization in the business world. They're like making data easy to read, they're making content easy to read, they're making it understandable, whatever. So you have data optimization, which basically optimizes all of the data that goes into advertising, and creative optimization, which optimizes all the content. And so a lot of that goes into the demand side platforms because, again, that's managing all of the ad content. Then what you go into is you go into the ad exchanges. Now the ad exchanges facilitate the sale of ad content. So ad exchanges, how many of you guys know what doubleclick.com is? Have you heard of that? Nope? Okay, you guys need to spend some more time on the internet. Doubleclick.com is an ad exchange, a very popular one. Most of it's like pop-ups. Like if you were to ever click on one of those offers that was like win free iPad now, if you clicked on one of those, it would take you to doubleclick.com, the ad exchange website, to take you through the rest of the process. Then what happens is you go into the ad networks. Now you have horizontal ad networks, vertical ad networks, and targeted audience. And that's horizontal, vertical, targeted audience, performance, and mobile. Who knows what horizontal advertising is?
Is that like the stuff that's like on the sideboard?
Good guess, but no. Horizontal ad networking means that you're advertising through an industry or through a brand. So a lot of times any ads that you see on Google or Yahoo, like general ads, that's done through horizontal because it just blanket goes across, right? Vertical advertising, any guesses on what that is? Vertical advertising basically happens whenever they pick a specific demographic. So they want to target, men 18 to 26 years old who go on Reddit, between the hours of 2 and 8 p.m., something like that. And yes, I promise you it is that specific. But the horizontal ad networks go through companies and general advertising means, and the vertical ad networks go into demographics, if that makes sense. Then you have targeted audience, which goes into even more specific demographics and less about generals and more about viewing habits and browsing habits. So vertical will target your age, gender, and location. Targeted audience will will target your browsing habits, whether or not you go on Amazon, things like that. Then you have performance. Those are less common. Those are ads that are only done whenever they actually see like they yield results. And then you have mobile, which is exactly as it sounds, advertisements that are done, you know, on all your apps and stuff. Which again is like getting super big because, you know, everybody's using apps.
I have a question.
Yes.
Do they deliberately place ads specifically on mobile stuff where it's like super easy to accidentally click them?
Yeah, that's a huge marketing strategy. That is done. Anybody have any guesses as to where that's done in the flow chart? Where that strategy would have been made up?
Code watch the one named in it.
Yes, it is done in the creative optimization. That's where it's done. So that's a great question. Whenever you have those ads like on, you know, if you're playing like the free version of Words with Friends and you accidentally click an ad, they put it there so that you would accidentally click it. And that was done in the creative optimization standpoint where they strategize creatively how the ad should look. Okay, next, so that was the green box and the blue box. The green boxes are the creative process for advertising and how they get onto your computer. The blue process is what they look like when they're on your computer. Now the red process is how the green process gets this information. And this is kind of like the part that packs a punch. So you have data suppliers. Data suppliers are right here. And these are companies that supply data from sharing in social tools. And I'll link back to it in a minute. The whole process is super circular, so I'm going to sidebar that. Then you have DMPs and data aggregators, which basically is data in summation form from suppliers. So you have the DMPs and data aggregators, and they take the data supporters and they translate the information much like the data optimization does, but this is more or less for how it's going to be targeted and less of how it's going to